So let's start with the lens maker's formula. So here this is a diagram of a lens. The refractive index of the material of the lens. Normally we take glass materials, but there are different kind of glass material possible. But in general, we take normal glasses to make a lens, and we know we use lenses in various uses in our daily lives, from spectacles to telescopes, microscopes. There are various uses of lenses, also in mobile cameras. So the refractive index of that medium that we are taking is taken here mu2, and the surroundings, that means AR medium, which is mu1. So this is basically a refracting medium, but both the surfaces are curved surfaces. Previously, what we have discussed like these kinds of things, one thing was curved, and after that a second medium start. This was mu1 and mu2. We assume that this is infinitely stretched. So any object placed anywhere, its image formed in the second medium, and thus we proceed and find out equations for the refractions. But here we can think that this is a part of one is like this, another one is like this, refractive medium, and these two combined and makes a material like this or a situation like this. That means it's a lens. uh, it is not necessary that the shape of the lens is always like this. It may be like that also, or maybe like these or that. There are different kinds of lenses are possible, but in general this is a very good way to find out equations treating our lens to be of these kinds of shape, because uh, the diagram will be very easy to draw here. So let's proceed further and see what happens in these kinds of things. And the topic that we are discussing, it is the part of ray optics. Optics is discussed in two parts in our syllabus: ray optics and wave optics. And the approach to the normal phenomena like reflection, refraction, in these two categories, in ray optics and wave optics. Our app, we can describe the reflections, refractions, and all other things. These by both by ray optics and also using wave optics. But the approach is different, and we will find out what is the difference in discussing with the wave optics in the later discussions. But for the time being, we are approaching in a ray optics where the light rays moves in rays like straight paths, and we draw them by straight lines with arrows. Arrow gives us the direction of the propagation of the light. And normally point sources are taken for our purposes, but it is not necessary that the source is always a point source. An extended source may also be used. So whatever, this is the axis drawn here. You know, the axis is a straight line, goes through the center of the lens. P1 and P2 are the poles of the two surfaces of the lens. C is the center of the lens, but C1 is the center of curvature of the first surface. This is the first surface. P1 is the pole of that surface, and the C1 is the center of the curvature of that. If we thought that this is to be an part of a sphere, extended virtual imaginary sphere, then the C1 is the center of that sphere, and P1 C1 is the radius of curvature of that surface. Similarly, here P2 C2 is the radius of curvature of the second surface, that means this surface. So these are the basic ideas that how can we draw the draw a lens. And here is the object placed at a point O. Okay, this is a situation where the point object is placed this kinds of situation, but it is possible that it may be placed in between the center of curvature and the center of the lens, or nearby any place. It may be here, anywhere, but for the time being, let us assume that the object is at that position, and from that position we have to draw some figures and find out and proceed how can we do any kind of things. Light ray goes from there, and if we treat just the first surface like previous cases, then due to that surface it should have been I1 should have been the image of the object O due to only this surface. That means we are treating this is an extended, there is nothing like this, only that surface is there. But these image due to the first surface is act like object for the second surface, and finally an image is formed somewhere else. So let us proceed doing some numericals. So for the reflection at the LP1 end, that means at that surface, we know the relations of reflections. What you can find out that this mu1 by CO. CO is the object distance U, that means minus U here, and mu2, second medium is mu2, Ci1, this is the V, that means the image distance for the first surface, and mu2 minus mu1 divided by Cc1, that means the radius. That means we are using the relation that we have learned in the previous cases. Let us see the laws that we have previously found in our discussions. So that means the first surface may be treated like this: rarer medium, denser medium, mu1, mu2, light ray goes, some images get formed, and after proceedings using trigonometry, we found that the relations comes like this, and we are using that relation in our case, in the case of a lens. That means the lens actually this like shape, but we are taking the first surface, so the phenomena can be treated or can be assumed like this. So we can proceed like this. So these equations will be applicable for that case also. So using these kinds of things, we are just using that previous equation that I showed just. But after that, what will happen? After that, the second surface will give some effect to the final image formations. See, this was the image formed. Actually, this is not actual image form. It should have been the image due to if there was only this surface. But there is also this surface. So there will be some effect due to this second surface. And for that, the final image, when the light ray passes here, it does not go to the straight line, it got reflected. That means some bending of the light ray happens. So the final image is here, not there. So this I1 is actually the object with respect to this surface, second surface, and this is the image with respect to this surface and the final image also. So now we can use the same formula for the second surface. That means the LP2N, this surface LP2N. And when we use the same formula, and for that surface, you know, in that case, the first surface is mu2 and the second surface is second medium. Sorry, first medium is mu2 and the second medium is mu1. Previously, in the for the first surface, the first medium is mu1 and the second medium is mu2. But for the second surface, first medium is mu2 and the second medium is mu1. And the Ci1, which is minus Ui1, because this is at that side, because U, that will be taken minus. And this is the V, because the final image V. And so is the equation. So if we add these two equations, we will get the final result. You know, for the first surface, the radius of curvature was this one, P1 C1, or this is so thin that we can consider P1 C1 equal to CC1. That is why this is CC1. And again, for that surface, the radius of curvature is this P2 C2, which we can consider as CC2 from that distance. So for the first surface, the radius of curvature R is this. That is why this is CC1, or we can say this to be R1. This is R1. And for the second surface, this is R2. So that we can say that R2. Now, if we add these two equations, we will get our final equation. And combining these two, see that mu2 by Ci1 and here mu2 by minus Ci1. These two will cancel each other. So final form of the equation is like that, and taking all those things common, mu2 minus mu1, 1 by Cc1 plus 1 by Cc2. So putting those values and the sign convention, applying everything, we will get our final equation for a lens. And this is a very important equation. You should practice this one for our future requirements, not only for the board exams but also for the competitive exams. So final equations comes like to be this: 1 by V minus 1 by U equals to, if we take commons like those things, that will be mu minus 1. If we take mu to be mu2 by mu1. So this is the equation, 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So this is the final form of equations. In formal situations or in the books, we write this V is first term. After that, we write 1 by U. After that, everything is just like that, 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. And depending our requirements, we put the values V, positive or negative, whatever it will be, depending on the diagram. First, we have to draw the diagram. After that, we have to take the sign convention, which depends on, just remember, x-axis and y-axis. And if the distance is from that point to that, those values will be negative. If this kind in that direction, then we will take positive direction. And always we try to put the source at the left side. We try to, but it is not always possible. But almost every time we try to put the object in the left side of the diagram. So there are a few cases which are possible to discuss the equation in depth. What will happen if we keep the object at infinity? That means U will be infinite, minus infinite. the image is formed at the principal focus. Because if you put those kinds of things, we get this is the definition of a lens. When the parallel light rays comes away from certain points or infinite, then they meet at a certain point, and that point is defined as the focus. So what will happen if the object is at infinite? The image distance becomes the focal length of the lens. So u equals to minus becomes the v equals to plus a. So if we put those kinds of values, we get the focal length of the lens also. So what we will do, if we need a lens of a particular focal length, fixed focal length, if we know the value of mu, if we adjust the radiuses or make the glass, when we are making a glass, we can fix the radius. No. So varying those kinds of things, radius or okay, after calculations, we can find out a lens of a fixed focal length. If we know the value of mu and R1 and R2, we know the focal length of these things. So if we have a requirement of a particular focal length, suppose we need 15 centimeter focal length lens, then what we will do, we will just calculate and find out a good R1, R2. So normally we take lenses of equal curvature in normal uses, but some other cases it is possible that these R1 and R2 may not be equal. Okay. So this is the equations, because we can build lens of our requirement using these equations. That is why this equation is known as lens maker's formula. So this is very important equations. 1 by f equals to mu minus 1, 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. You have to remember this equation. And also from that equation also we can write 1 by v minus 1 by u equals to 1 by f. These equations may also be used, because if you know the object distance, it is known. Also focal length of a lens is known. What will be the position of the image and the nature of the image, you can find out using these equations. So these two equations are very important equations. One is to make a lens, so that is why it is a lens maker's formula. But if we would like to find out the image nature, or if you know the nature of the image, you would like to find out the object's nature which is far apart from us, we can use these equations to find those kinds of things. So these two equations are very important equations and very easy to understand also. Just we have to do some calculations, trigonometry and previous knowledges that we have gathered from the last sessions that we have conducted. So now we will give some definitions. Actually these definitions should have been given earlier, but it's okay. The first principal focus, the definitions. You know, these kinds of definitions we have learned in class 10 syllabus or 9 syllabus or even before that. So the first principal focus is the point on the principal axis of the lens at which, if an object is placed, the image would be formed at infinity. That means we can give the definitions of focal point or the focus in two different ways. One is, if the object is placed here, the light rays will go parallel to the axis and at infinity it will move just. And another way of giving this equation is just the opposite that kind of things. The parallel light rays meet at a certain point and that point is known as the focal point. But we categorize that these definition is for the first or the principal focus, and the second one is when the parallel light rays comes and meet at a certain point, that point is known as the second principal point focus. The second principal focus is the point on the principal axis of the lens at which the image is formed when the object is kept at infinity. Here object is at infinity and the image formed in a certain point, that is known as the second principal focus. And when the object placed at a certain point and the image goes formed at infinity, then the position of the object is known as the first principal focus. So that is the thing. And it is applicable for both concave and convex lenses. So these kinds of definitions, actually these kinds of ideas are very important to remember. May not come in exams, but you have to understand what is the focal point, what is the focal plane, what is the focal length also. Focal length is actually defined as the distance from the center to the focal point. This is the focal length. This is the F1 is the focal length for that, or the first focal length, and F2 is the second focal length, because this is the second principal focus or the focal point. Now thin lens formula, or also known as the Gaussian form of lens equation. This is a convex lens, and here while drawing figures you have to remember few things. First of all, we have placed the object at a point. Now, first of all, you have to draw these kinds of things. You have to draw a lens and its center. After that, just imagine it's like a sphere and find out the center of that sphere. That means the center of the curvature. Okay, that will be at certain point, maybe these. And half of that point is the focal point. Similar is the case for the both two cases. This is the center, which is 2f2, and half of that f2. Just use scale and try to draw it as accurate as possible. After that, draw an object, extended object, 2 points A and B. Light rays from A, one should be drawn parallel to the axis. When that goes parallel to the axis, obviously it will go through the focal point. So connect these two lines and allow it to go. After that, draw another line which will move through the center. If the light ray go to the center, it will not deviate from that line. That means we can draw a straight line only. So these two lines will meet at a certain point. So this is the image of the object or the point O. Similarly, all the points will be produced, and finally we can draw the image A prime B prime. So this is the way to draw a diagram using a lens. So this is just a good equation figure. Now depending on the position of the object, that will go through that line only, because it is always will move through the focal length. But now what will happen, it will move the center. So you see that the object is nearer, image is near. What happens when the object was placed between 2f and f, the image was away, the image was formed far from the 2f. But when the object is placed this like situation, the image is formed in between place f and 2f. So depending on the position of the object, the position of the image will change. And that also we can find from equations. If we put the values of u, we can see that the value of the v will change correspondingly. So that is not a big deal, but visualizing these using these kinds of diagram is very important. So first of all, you have to know how to draw the diagrams. This is very important thing, and easy also. You have to follow certain rules. First rule is that parallel lines or the parallel light rays will go through the focal point, and the light ray going through the center will follow the straight path, just a straight line, and they will meet and form the image of the point. So correspondingly, if we draw a perpendicular from that point, that will be the image of these objects. So that is the thing. So now we can say that this length is u and this is the v, image distance. F is the focal length, this. R is the radius of the curvature. So there are two triangles that we have drawn here. Now we will use trigonometry, just simple trigonometry. Because these two triangles are similar triangles, this angle, that angle 90 degree, this is 90 degree. So these two triangles are similar triangles. So the ratio of these to that will be equal to the ratio of these to that. Also, these green two portions are also similar triangles. So the ratio to these to that will be equal to the ratio of these to that part and this part. No. And also this CM and this AB are equal because it's a rectangle. So from these two, we can say that this is and that are equal because AB and MC will obviously equal. So comparing these two equations, these two are equal. Now, what is CB prime? CB prime is the V. What is CB? CB is the U, basically minus U. And what is B prime F2? We do not know actually. So we can replace B prime F2 by BC minus this. That will give the B prime F2. Right? And now let us see what are those kinds of things. CB is equal to minus U. So we will put minus U here. CB prime is the plus V. We will plus V here. CF2 is the plus F. So we will put F here, V here, minus U here. So the final equation will take a form like this. Let us do minus V by U equals to V minus F by F. So if we do the cross multiplication things, what we will get? Minus VF equal to VU minus UF. Or VF minus UF equal to, UF minus VF equal to VU. Now let us divide. Let us write it again and do the calculation. So for what we are getting from that equation? We are getting from that equation is minus V divided by U equals to V minus F by F. So UV minus UF equals to minus VF. So UV equals to UF plus VF. Minus VF. This is minus VF. Now let us divide everything. UV divided by UVF. UF divided by UVF minus VF divided by UVF. So after divisions, here we get 1 by F equals to 1 by V minus 1 by U. So the final equations 1 by V minus 1 by U equals to 1 by F. That equations we previously found from the Lenz-Packer's formula also. Just remember that 1 by V minus 1 by U equals to 1 by F. So actually that means our approach to this is correct. That is why we are getting the same result after doing different kind of approaches. Now we will discuss about the linear magnifications due to a lens. What is the linear magnification produced by a lens? It is defined as the ratio of the size of the image to the size of the object. So the linear magnification M is defined as the size of the image divided by the size of the object. So after doing those kinds of things in that equation that we have discussed earlier, the M will come like to be V by U. Or let us see the diagram. So actually what is M? M is the A prime B prime. This is the image height divided by the object height is AB. And from these two similar triangles, that one and this one, we know that the ratio of these to that must be equal to the ratio of this length to that length. So this is the V, this is the U. So that will come actually minus V by U because U is minus U. So that is the thing. Or in general, we can say that V by U. Also, the magnification can be produced in terms of focal length also, because we know 1 by V minus 1 by U equals to 1 by F. Now, if we divide it multiplied by V, what we get? 1 minus V by U equals to V by F. So 1 minus M equal to V by F, or M will be equal to 1 minus V by F. So what we get? F minus V. So this is the magnification in terms of V and F. And also from that equation again we can do another thing. Let us multiply this by U, not V. What we will get? U by V minus 1 equal to U by F. So this is actually 1 by M equals to U by F plus 1. So 1 by M equals to U plus F by U. So M will be equal to U by U plus F. So magnification M can be expressed in various ways. It can be written as V by U, or F minus V by F, or F by F minus U. There may be some errors, that is why it is coming like this. And the power of a lens is the reciprocal to the focal length, P equals to 1 by F. Power of a lens is the ability to bend a ray of light falling on it, and its reciprocal of its focal length. When F is in meter, power is measured in diopter, D. So this is the end of the topic.